Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Intoxicated Intellect. As you can see, it's very short-staffed here tonight. It's just Ben and I. Ben.
Hi, guys.
So it'll just be us tonight. And don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out. It helps us out tremendously and means the world to us. If you do regularly do that, thank you all very, very much. And Ben,
Keep up. We like to see it. But
what do we have
tonight's?
What do we have tonight?
For tonight's episode, if you guys will remember, a little bit ago we did a level 20 build. The particular was a Bladesinger Wizard Fighter multiclass, or Fighter Wizard multiclass. At the time, we were kind of keeping in the theoretical world. None of us had played it at its full potential. However, tonight, one of us has experienced this in actual gameplay. At high level 20 gameplay, how it stacks up against other characters, where its pitfalls are, where its good parts are, and so on and so forth. So, Brady, you actually got the chance to play this in a one-shot.
I did.
What was the one-shot about? Like, where did you bring this character to? What did you do?
So, after initially creating this character, I text my buddy Josh, and he's the one that got me into D&D as a whole. And I just said, hypothetically, what are the odds that you run a level 20 one-shot? He got back to me and said, 35%-ish. 5 minutes later, I get another message, never mind, it's being written right now. So that
I love Josh is just like, I'm good, we're doing this.
Yeah, it's like the seed was planted in his mind and he just went, yes. So the whole premise of it was every single character in our party was level 20. We had made a contract with a witch via her using her wish spell that to complete a mission we were on previously, this was all backstory that we were given in the beginning, she created 5 black rings that we all put on, and it boosted us all to our max level, level 20. In return, we had to heed her call one time or immediately die.
Okay.
And so when she called us back, the Amulet of the End, which we had secured in the backstory, was under attack by Demons of the Abyss again. And so we had to figure out a way to go into the realm of the Nine Hells, secure the Amulet of the End, get it back to the witch, fulfill our contract, because one does not break a wish contract spell, and oddly enough,
that's a terrible idea.
You can't, even with another wish spell, you can't counter the effects of the wish spell.
Yep.
So it was very well worded in the backstory.
You cannot lawyer your way out of it.
Exactly. And oddly enough, the wish spell came in great handy later on. And
lawyering did fix it.
I can get into that after we go back over the build. But with all that backstory out of the way and whatnot, I knew going into actually playing this character, I didn't want to keep the point buy rolls.
Right. I was gonna say, I heard you said you rolled your own stats.
Yes.
And traditional are traditional. I don't know how you guys did it, but 4d6, drop the lowest, reroll ones, or no?
Josh's is 4d6, drop the lowest. You get 1 mulligan, and you have to use the mulligan.
Okay, gotcha. So if you
So the dice were in my favor that day. At this point, I know what dice roll well and which ones don't in my sets. Perks.
I roll stats with these dice.
Perks of being a DM and rolling enough dice enough times.
Yep, all of mine are shit.
Yeah, they are. So the stats I was able to roll, if you recall back to the point by one, it was
there's a lot of -1s on that.
Truly min-maxed.
Yeah.
I don't have a single negative modifier anymore.
That's clutch, actually, because that was where a lot of that pitfall was that lack of wisdom save.
Yeah. So the base stats that I was able to roll was a 12 in strength, a 16 in dex, a 16 in con, a 16 in intelligence, a 15 in wisdom, and a 14 in charisma.
Man, you weren't kidding when you said they were in your favor that night.
The dice, for whatever reason, loved this build. Granted, I've made builds where the dice won't let me roll over a 9.
Yeah, yeah. They just become townsfolk at that point. I'm not.
So with the rolls being better, it freed up a little bit of room for an extra feat.
Okay.
And I, oddly enough, only got one extra feat after maxing out my Dex, Con, and Intelligence again, as this build pretty much requires.
Yeah, it's a lot of ASI to dump into all that.
But the feat that I was able to grab was the Eldritch Adept feat, specifically Armor of Shadows, which then let me cast Mage Armor on myself at will without a spell slot, which for this build is
very important. Yeah, I was gonna say, because that was one of the things that I was worried about looking at it, was just like you have some time, but that's extra spell slots that you need for shield and other things that you're just burning. Yeah,
so being able to grab that Armor of Shadows helped a lot. And like we figured out at the very end of the last video, the base AC is 19, not 21.
Yep.
Which then gave it a with
Mage Armor.
No, it was with the Mage Armor, it was a 19. And you're just pretty much always accounting for that because it's at will 8 hours at a time. Which then brought the Blade Singing feature. Your combat AC starts now at 24. Shield will bring that to a 29. The only other feat that I would have liked to have taken, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but basically what it allowed you to do is, as a reaction, add your proficiency bonus to your armor class, which would have given me a +6 instead of the +5 of shield, and without expending spell slots.
That's nice, actually. Yeah.
Even with the rolls being as much in my favor as they were at level 20, you can't let your three main things lack, and other saves are very important.
Right. And you were, how many total ASIs do we have on this build? 6, if I remember right?
6 ASIs. Yeah, which is the reason it has to be 12 in Fighter and 8 in Wizard.
Yep, because you get your
last 2 ASIs at 12 and 8, respectively, in those classes for this build at least. I ended up rolling for... No, did I roll for HP? No, I kept standard HP.
You kept standard HP?
Which was still 208. That plus 10 to initiative with the alert feat that you get from the Variant Human, because you want this build to go
alert's
first.
So helpful, yeah.
Any specific questions before I just start rambling?
I mean, the biggest one for me is, I remember, did we end up swapping our fighting style, or what fighting style did we end up using?
Let me go back to the builder real quick here.
Because I remember that I had asked about that, and you said you were going to switch it.
My fighting style is defense.
Okay, gotcha.
So the +1 to AC while you're wearing armor.
Okay.
And because this build is proficient in all armors, the light to medium armor that you're not getting disadvantage on your stealth and everything else really helps on that. So it was the defensive fighting style.
Gotcha. And then did you change out any of your spells? Any of your big spells, I should say.
So the main, I did change out a few of them. I think. Okay. My 4 cantrips were Lightning Lure, Shocking Grasp, and Toll the Dead, which I think were the same as they were before.
You added Shocking Grasp, because there was one you're like, I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet, but we'll play with that when we get there.
Kept Message.
Okay.
Oddly enough, never had the opportunity to use it, but again, this was a one-shot. You're not going to have opportunity to use
you're not going to be able to use everything.
And then for first level spells, I got Cause Fear, Comprehend Languages, Long Strider, Shield, Snare, and Witch Bolt. And of course, Mage Armor is included in there, but that's at will, those spell slots. Second level, I chose Misty Step, Scorching Ray, and Tasha's Mind Whip. Third level was Counterspell and Fireball.
Got it.
4th level, Fire Shield. 5th level, I didn't take.
And then that was
you don't at this build. You get access to that level of spell, but you can't choose any spells at 5th or 6th level. So those are the spells that I took.
Okay. Well then, so tell me, how did Festarin, how did he fare in the 9 Hells?
This boy can put out some damage.
Okay.
Specifically with his ability, and I gotta figure out where it is right here so I can say it to you correctly here. Oh, where's it at? Where's it at? Anyway, I can't find it at the moment. But what it is any time that this build hits a enemy with a melee attack, the next saving throw they have to make on a spell that you cast has disadvantage. Well,
Got it.
The main cantrips that I took are both saving throws. Lightning Lore and Toll the Dead are both saving throws.
Yeah.
Auto-forcing disadvantage on that is
big.
Great. Especially because with this build, like was mentioned previously, you get to cast a cantrip and then continue with your other attacks, and that ends up being, because you can use your bonus action to make a melee attack as well, that's 1 cantrip and 3 melee attacks per round, plus once per long rest your action surge.
Yep.
So can
When
pump out
you
some
wanna,
damage.
yeah.
Especially with the plus 11s to hit on your melee attacks.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I did run into, and this was specifically in the Nine Hells, mainly in the BBEG fight, this man did not have the right spells prepared.
Gotcha.
So the BBEG fight was Asmodeus.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Festarin went second after Asmodeus banished our cleric back to his home plane of existence. Joke's on Asmodeus, our cleric was born in the Nine Hells.
Dope. Yeah.
But it was at that point that Festarin realized, fuck, because Lightning Lore did nothing.
Yeah.
And when you're telling me my 48 cantrip does zilch nada, and the rest of my spells are lightning and fire damage,
Yep.
you're kind of fucked. He does burn through first level spell slots so fast.
I was gonna say, with that shield reaction, I bet you fucking burn it.
Yeah. The arcane recovery via short rests helps, because then you can just regain your first level spell slots back.
Yep.
Which was very helpful, because the only rest we got in this one shot was a singular short rest.
Got it.
Because we were trying to move everything along. It's a one shot, you want to get through it.
Yep. You don't want to be long resting all the freaking time.
But the saves were pretty average. Can't complain too much. The +2 to charisma and wisdom not being negatives anymore really helps.
It's helpful, yeah.
But overall, just as a build, the lack of spell slots for a spellcasting main really hurts.
Gotcha.
And initially building this build, that's not something I accounted for. Because I was like, oh, just the cantrip melee combos, boom, 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 boom. Well, if you don't have a magic weapon, at level 20, most to everything you're fighting has resistance to non-magical damage, or in the case of fiends and devils that aren't silvered as well.
Yeah.
And so at that point, your cantrips may be doing full damage, but every single melee attack you're hitting is only doing half. And then you're like, okay, well, I can just use my other spells. Then you get into your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th level slots. You only have 3 3rd and 4th level slots, and 2 5th and 1 6th. While, yeah, your 6th level spells are impressive. Like Tasha's Mind Whip at 6th level in the first fight
can do a lot. Yeah.
I took out, at least for the first round, like 5 of the top baddies. We were fighting Horn Devils, Barb Devils, and Imps, and I was able to neutralize, at least for one round, the Horned Devils and the Barb Devils. Only one of them made their save, so it was really nice giving them either their movement, an action, or a reaction.
And only one of those.
But then, boom, there goes your 6th level spell slot, and you can't get that back with your arcane recovery. It's gone until your long rest. So then you're like, well, shit.
Okay, that's rough, yeah.
Yeah, because then you're like, well, there goes my most powerful everything. So then you're like, okay, I still got 5th level, but with how fast you're burning through shield, if you're not careful, you may end up needing your 5th level spell slots just to keep casting shield.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't run into that, but yeah.
Yeah, and at this level, everything hits pretty hard, so you want to try to avoid damage whenever possible.
Which is where the second wind was nice as the fighter ability.
Right, does help.
Even if it only was one time. Luckily,
it still gets you back up and moving.
And like you and Jack had pointed out in the previous video, this character relies heavily on support players.
Yep.
Our cleric was like watching this character rush into the fight every single time, and there was a lot of combat in this. And
Right.
he's just like, I'm gonna have to heal somebody. 'Cause
Right.
we had another character who was also taking a lot of damage, and it's just things like that where yeah, your shield's gonna help you avoid most hits, but when you get hit, it's like 40, 45 damage a hit.
You get
and
5 of those.
Yeah. So it does take its toll. Would I say this is the best level 20 build in the world? Fuck no. Not
Gotcha.
a chance. Is it effective for what it does as a research and damage outputter? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Especially because say you're playing a long-term campaign, by the time you're level 20, odds are you're gonna have a magical weapon.
Right.
So
That's one of the questions is what kind of, not necessarily what weapon specifically, but what kind of magical weapon would you be after on this kind of a character?
With this one, I'd say your most effective would be just a simple +1 or +2 weapon.
Okay.
Something that still counts as magical, and then gives you a little extra on to hit and the damage, because with at least this character, you're proficient in martial and simple weapons, thanks to the fighter, which is really nice.
Right.
So I chose rapier, which proficiency plus dex being maxed out at 20 gives you +5 plus your +6 proficiency at level 20, so you're getting a +11 to hit. You add a +1 or +2 to that, you're really only ever gonna need to roll an 8 or higher on your dice to hit most things.
Right.
With that modifier, and then you're getting full damage because it'd be a magical weapon at that point. So that would help this build a lot. But on average, I think the rapier was dealing 5 to 6 damage. It was more like 8 to 9 because it's a D8 plus 5, so you're guaranteed to get 6 at least. On average, I was rolling medium at 8 or 9. But again, 3 times for that, it adds up.
It adds up, right? It ends up being pretty close to one of your cantrips at that point.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, is there any, like, what kind of changes would you have made to your spells going in? Like, obviously, you weren't sure if you're going to the 9 hells or not, and one of your big disadvantages was you went with lightning and fire.
Right.
What else would you have gone with, either cantrip-wise or spell-wise, to make a difference?
I would have read
Or what types of damage would you have bought?
I would have read Blade Song, the ability, a lot better.
Okay.
Because that's not concentration.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was. So I was like, I can't have concentration spells. No. Concentration spells will be this build's friend.
Got it. Okay, because you're not burning through as many spell slots.
Exactly, because then you can concentrate on, I don't know, the
damage in the cantrip versus keeping.
Let's say you're concentrating on slow. Slow would be a great spell for this guy to have. You got your enemies pretty much neutralized, do 1 or 2 things there every turn at most, and then you can go in with your cantrip melee attack combos.
Right.
And I would definitely choose more saving throw spells.
Okay.
Because
with that auto disadvantage, yeah.
While the to hit spells are nice, that disadvantage is gonna be your friend more than to hits.
Gotcha. Would you have gone with any specific kind? Like, would you have looked for any in different damage types? Would you have changed out any of your cantrips? Because I know you doubled up with Shocking Grasp and Lightning Lure.
Yeah.
As far as the shock damage goes, would you have swapped one of those out, or do you like what they both do enough that you would have kept them regardless?
No, I think I would have taken Shocking Grasp out and exchanged it for Frostbolt or Frostbite or what that cantrip is, because then you get the different types of damage. You're not set to just lightning or just fire or just those two.
Okay.
It gives you, like Jack always points out, different damage types for different creatures.
Right. You always want to be able to do something.
Right, and that's at least a failing on my end when building this character. But then again, I didn't know that we were going to be going into the Nine Hells fighting fiends and demons and devils.
Right.
Yeah, I would have varied the types of damage this character can put out.
Gotcha.
And obviously,
go
like,
for it.
I mean, you can only prepare versus know so many spells.
Right.
And so it was just whatever was prepared for that day. Like I said, we didn't get a long rest, so I couldn't change out spells.
Right, so you couldn't swap anything. Right.
Yeah.
With those kind of changes in mind, how do you think what role do you think this character fills? Is it your single target DPS, your AoE DPS? Is it better as your tank, as your float character? Is it better to have as like a battlefield control with an additional damage capability? Where do you think this character would honestly shine the most? Like knowing what you know now.
Oddly enough, I feel it plays a twofold role in combat.
Okay.
Starts off as a ranged area of effect fighter.
Okay.
With your fireball, your other massive ranged area of effect spells that can be hurled at certain distances. And then when those go out and you're down 1 or 2 spell slots after 2 rounds of combat, then you rush in. Because
okay, gotcha.
With Bladesong active, you get 40 feet of movement speed base.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that.
Because you get a plus 10
speed. Yeah.
And so, like, 40 feet in most combat scenarios is nothing to laugh at.
Right. Be moving pretty quickly.
So you can get from the back to the front very quickly, and after that initial 1 or 2 rounds out of combat, going in and being the tank is something this character can do very well, again, with that ability to get to that 29 AC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how did it fare, like, at that high-level play? Everything else hits, has a plus 11, plus 12 to hit as well. How did it fare with that additional AC? Did it avoid most hits, or did it still take a decent chunk?
No, I was able to avoid a solid amount of the hits.
Okay.
In the first round of combat, where it was all the horned and barbed devils and imps,
right.
I was attacked probably 10 to 15 times just because I was playing a frontline tank. And
right.
I only got hit once.
Oh shit. Okay. No, that's actually very effective then.
Yeah. But then when you're going against the BBEG, they're going to be rolling 30 pluses to hit. Different. Just because their modifiers are insane.
Right.
In which case, you're going to need to take a step back and not be that tank. And okay. I'm not going to lie, I got a little overconfident with this dude's AC and his HP pool. And Asmodeus put him in his place real fast.
Gotcha.
But other than that, like this character did everything I needed it to do.
Okay. There you go. So what was the rest of the party makeup like? Out of curiosity. So like obviously you said you had a cleric because he got banished to the hells.
Yep. We had a cleric. We had an artificer.
Okay.
We had a monk.
Okay.
And shit, what was the other character? It's gonna look so bad. I was quite drunk that night too. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, it's intoxicated intellect, baby. It's fine. we do not shun the
I'm trying to think if we even had
it. It might have only been a 4-person party.
Okay.
People I played with, I'm so sorry. It is what it is. I know in our class list video we bashed on the monk pretty hard.
Yeah.
But
how did the monk fare? I was gonna ask
the
that.
monk
Yeah.
fared surprisingly well, especially because their fists count as magical weapons.
Yeah, it does help when you read the rules, right?
And so the monk did surprisingly well. I was impressed.
Okay.
It was the person that decided to play the monk. It was their first ever time playing D&D.
Oh, okay.
Level 21 shot. First time ever playing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot of information to take in.
A martial character was good.
Right.
The key points got a bit confusing, but
yeah,
we were able to help him through it.
Work through it, yeah.
But the party makeup, No, wait, hold on. There was a fifth player, and they played
The fifth player returns.
Ranger. I'm so sorry, Kai.
Okay.
I don't know how I forgot you.
Well played. Well played. Sorry, Kai. Our friend's an idiot.
But, yeah, so Kai played a Ranger.
Got it. Okay. Now, Bury Style Ranger or like Ranger?
Ranger.
Okay. Lame. So, with everything in mind, what kind of player would you recommend this build to? Is this a beginner friendly? Is this a, moderate experience? Or is this something that someone who's got some experience playing should, like, if you look into this, it'd be fun?
I'm going to say anywhere from intermediate to expert. An intermediate player, and by that I mean someone that's played D&D a bit, knows their way around a character sheet, could be able to play this. There's going to be some pitfalls. Like, they're not going to catch everything. I mean, even like I'm not even an expert player at this point. So like even I caught myself even just admitting in this video, like, I fucked some shit up. But a person who, let's say, has been playing D&D for 10 years, if they were to pull up this character sheet and do a session, they'd probably have the time of their lives.
Okay.
Because it's not very often you get to play a tank wizard.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a weird statement where, like, hey guys, you know that super scrawny dude in the back? He's a tank.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. He's a tank.
Yeah, and like the description I gave for this character was lanky, tall.
Yep.
Dude, you wouldn't think should be in the front of combat.
Yeah, it's like your 6 foot tall 4th grader. Like, he's just tall and thin.
100%. That's all this character was. But it was a lot of fun, especially because I don't play fighter a whole lot. Like that's a class.
Fighter's fun, man. I love having people get involved in it. Fighter's fun.
So I did have a lot of fun with that. Wizards I always enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would ever play this character again.
Got it.
At least not in a campaign. In a one shot or so, I would definitely play this character again.
I was gonna say, yeah. Would you try this in a campaign, or does it take too long to get it together for it to be worth doing?
Well, no, because this build can take effect at level 13.
Okay.
Like in its best form, best like your
highest damage
blade,
per round
your blade song's
else.
not gonna get you that. No, blade song would. There's one effect that requires your proficiency bonus, which is only gets up to level 6 at certain levels, or plus 6 at certain levels. But as far as this build in a campaign, if it were starting at 13, then yes.
Okay.
But at that point, your blade song's not gonna have as much because you're not gonna be able to max out stuff right away. Obviously, you're not gonna have your maxed out Dex, Con, and Intelligence, so your spell saves aren't gonna be as high. Your damage output's not gonna be as high. But it becomes a viable build around that.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is it is purely a high level play.
This is a high level build. Like
Gotcha.
You try playing this at level 5 or 6, and
you're gonna have a bad time.
I don't know why you'd ever want to do that. you might as well be playing a 6th level fighter at that point.
Yeah.
Like, screw the wizard part. Take an Eldritch Fighter, you still get a couple spell slots.
Right, I was gonna say if you really want to try to cast something at that level, you might as well.
Right, but as far as this being a low-level viable build, no, not at all.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is meant for high level.
Gotcha. And then I guess my last final question is, how did you guys beat Asmodeus? Yeah. How did you guys beat Asmodeus?
So,
because you said y'all were struggling. So how did you beat Asmodeus?
So we immediately saw that Asmodeus was going to be our final fight. And we just went fuck, because even a 5-person party at level 20 going against the god of devils in the Lord of the Nine Hells.
In the Nine Hells.
Yeah. Doesn't end well. But Asmodeus
really
was gracious enough to allow us to stand in front of him and pre-plan how our cleric was going to cast Wish. Because they were the only one with it prepared. And this wizard build can't have access to Wish.
Can't get to it, yeah.
And our artificer couldn't, or just didn't have it, or whatnot.
Right.
So our cleric was the only one that had Wish. So we as a group discussed the exact wording of what our cleric was gonna say. Had it all planned out. Then we roll initiative. Asmodeus rolls a natural 20.
Yeah.
Goes first. Immediately banishes our cleric to his home plane of existence.
What a great, like, I'll let you sit and talk about it. Fuck you.
But our cleric happened to be born in the Nine Hells. Specifically the first layer of the Nine Hells, but still the Nine Hells.
Yeah.
And Wish spells, at least the way we were playing it, will still take effect as long as you're on the same plane that your target is.
Okay, got it.
So our cleric, he was out of combat, and Asmodeus thought he wasn't a threat anymore. Well, he was still in the initiative order.
Right.
So he ended up being second or third in initiative, after me. So there was Asmodeus, then Festarin, and then either the cleric or one before the cleric. At this point, it was really late, and I was most of a bottle of whiskey deep.
Yep.
And so the cleric casts Wish, words it as he does. Josh has him say it again, slower, so Josh could sit there and write it down. And as Asmodeus does, dealing in contracts and everything else for a living,
lawful evil, man.
Studies the wording of the Wish spell. Couldn't find a single loophole.
There we go.
It was worded airtight, but again, this is what you get for sitting and discussing it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Airtight. So that is the only way we beat Asmodeus. Had our cleric been born on any other plane of existence,
you'd be fucked.
We'd have been dead.
Damn. Okay.
So the Wish spell got us into the mess, and the Wish spell got us out of the mess.
So what I'm hearing is, everybody take Wish. Always have it with you. Never leave home without Wish.
Yes. And after the cleric cast it, he rolled the die to see if he'd ever be able to use Wish again. And he is able to use Wish again if we ever do it again. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But no, it was a hell of a one-shot.
Yeah, no, it sounds literally.
Yeah, quite literally. But we got
that sounds like fun.
The way we got to the Nine Hells though was through Sigil.
Okay, yeah. Good old Portal City.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fun. No, dude, it sounds like it was a good one shot, a good way to test out the build. Sounds like the build was fun while it wasn't prepped for the Hells very as good as it could have been. But nah, man, it sounds like it was a good time.
Before we get off here and say goodbye to everyone, I just want to give one more shout out to Josh for in 4 days time prepping an entire level 21 shot.
Yeah.
Thank you
that
so much.
Turnaround's fairly impressive, man. That's good.
Thank you so much, Josh. And I know you watch these, so here you go. Ben, before we leave, do you have anything else?
Not really, man. I think you hit on everything that I was really curious about how this character was gonna play. I want to do something I kind of want to do something similar. I may change out a few things, but you've inspired me.
Hey,
what is the highest AC I can reach?
There you go. Warforged will help with that.
Yeah. Well, that was something that I was thinking about.
Yep.
But
thank you everyone for watching another episode of Intoxicating.
Hanging out with us.
Hope you liked this. How did the build play? If this is something you want more of, how our other level 20 builds play, let us know. It just means more D&D for us, and that's never a bad thing.
Right, yeah. I can crank out a one-shot to test some builds. It'll be fun.
So thank you all again, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
Have a good weekend.